In last week's FM22 video, we found out what the FM gods had in store for the club in the next 5 years. And well, the results were a little bit disappointing, I think is the word. To try and improve on that, today's video, we are going to go ahead and take Newcastle's ginormous, massive transfer budget and we're going to give it to Wolves. We're going to find out how they go about spending that money and can we get some better results. Let's go and find out. Hello and welcome to another FM22 video on the channel with me, Clayts. Today's video, I'm hoping, is going to build on last week's video a little bit. Last week's video, we just did a 5-year simulation. We looked at what happens to Wolves in 5 years in FM22. We just holidayed forward and just, we looked at the results. We looked at the managers because there was a few changes in that regard. We looked at who they signed, who they sold. Today's video, I'm hoping is going to see some better results because if we're honest, finishing 12th 3 times out of 5 seasons isn't the best look for Wolves, is it? I'm hoping that the results are going to be a bit better today because what we've done, here's the twist. I've given us Newcastle's budget. So Newcastle start the game with this £200 million to go and spend. I've just given it to Wolves. And hopefully the in-game Wolves now are going to go on a bit of a transfer splurge and hopefully bring in some big names and hopefully get some better results. I can't wait to get stuck in. So I think without further ado, let's jump into the game. Here we are then in the game. And I've just added myself as a manager just for this first little bit here, just to show you the finances. Of course, when you're not the manager, you can't take a little peek under the hood at how much money the club has to spend. So I've just added myself as a manager at the start. The simulation that we're running, I'm just going to be a bystander. I'm just going to be unemployed watching as things go on. So it will be Bruno in that sim. For now, though, I just wanted to show you that the club does in fact have £258 million to go and spend. Transfer budget is 0. This is a bit of a disclaimer. The first time they can go and spend any money is in the January. And trust me, I promise you, they will go and spend money in that January. For now, though, we're going to keep it as realistic as possible up until the January because Newcastle didn't get the money until, after the window was closed. So I'm going to keep it like that. £258 million to spend here, though. Loads of money will be available for Jeff to put his hand in his pocket, which I suppose he's not been shy in doing so anyway, right? You maybe just don't hear Wolves fans going on about it as much as some of their neighbours. What we're going to do now then is jump forward 1 season at a time and we will check in. We'll look at what the club looks like in a year's time and then another year and then another year. And I'm hoping we're going to see some success. Let's jump forward 1 year. 1 year is up then. It is 2022. Let's find out what the club have done in this year. How much money has been spent in that January. Let's also see where they finished in the Premier League. I mean, it says they're 20th there. I'm hoping that's because another season's ticked on. Oh my God, I've seen one thing straight away. Ronald Koeman is now the manager at the club. That suggests that maybe it's not gone all too well. Bruno is no longer the manager. Let's see the club's finish last season then. They finished, oh my word, they finished 17th. Even with all of this money, that's a terrible finish. That's worse than the first simulation we've done. They finished 17th with 36 points, just 10 wins all season, 22 losses. That is not so good. Let's see who they managed to buy. And of course, they've got rid of Bruno and they've brought in Ronald Koeman at this stage. Transfer history, this season so far, they've spent 3.8 million on Sepp van den Berg from Liverpool. Last season, they spent £57 million. William Carvalho was the biggest of those signings. They also signed Willy Cambuala and Sergio Rico. Who do they sell in this season? They sold Oscar Burr, went to Preston. Marcel was let go. He's gone to Nottingham Forest just down the road. Fabio Silva went out on loan. William Carvalho, the biggest of the signings, and he looks like a bit of a monster actually. Should be really good, but a 17th place finish is not so good. Let's have a look at what the team looks like by looking at the most recent of fixtures. A win against Norwich in the last game of the season. I just want to see what the tactics look like with the new Koeman setup. So it's a 4-3-3 setup. You got Neves in behind Moutinho and Dendoncker, Hwang up front. Some interesting decisions there made by the club and some very disappointing results. I'm looking at these fixtures here. I guess what we need to do is, we survived in the Premier League. I guess what we need to do is go another season and hopefully a big summer window will put us in a much better position after another year. Let's go forward 1 more year. Here we are then, 2023, another year on. A very disappointing 17th place finish last year. Hopefully they've improved on that. Let's find out where they have finished after another year. Of course, there's another new manager. The first thing that you see when you click on this is the manager, and now Didier Deschamps is the manager in charge at the club. So it's gone from Bruno Lage onto Ronald Koeman onto Didier Deschamps this time, and I'm going to find out now where they finished in the league table. Not 20th, that's just alphabetical there. They finished 11th. So mid-table. I suppose it's an improvement. It's a 7-point improvement from last year. If they're spending loads of money, though, maybe you'd be expecting a bit of a higher finish. Only 11th in the table. Let's have a look at some of those fixtures. Let's click into the club. Some of the fixtures, some of the results that you see here then. Some disappointing runs. Around January time here, very disappointing. They did finish okay, though, with a couple of wins. I mean, it's still not great, is it? Who did they sign? Who did they sign last year? It was £183 million spent. Lisandro Martinez being the most expensive one. Mason Holgate, Sebastian Coates, the former Liverpool centre-back, Lewis Dunk, another centre-back, Scott McTominay, McSauce brought into the club, and one or two others there that you see. Dominic Solanke, some interesting ones for sure. They also sold players for 20 million. Ruben Vinagre was sold. Roman Saiz was sold as well. Connor Cody to Watford. They sold Cody in the last simulation as well, didn't they, for not very much money. Fabio Silva went out on loan. I thought they sold him there. I was a bit scared about that, but no, I'm not sure that this business is the best. Lisandro Martinez for big money, and then an 11th place finish. I'm hoping that they can improve it. I do want to see what did the team look like then at the end of that season. Let's choose this Brighton game because they won this game. Dom Solanke scored twice in it. He must have played a big part as well. They've stuck with the 4-3-3. Solanke, Podence, and Adama there. Neves, McTominay, and Carvalho in behind. Martinez, the centre-back from... Is he from Ajax they signed him? I think so. From Ajax for big money. Yeah, it was Ajax. £51 million they signed him for. I still think we can improve, and I'm still hoping we can go and spend a bit more money. Let's go forward another year. 2024 now then, and I'm hoping that there's going to be an improvement after that 11th place finish. Maybe this is the year that the club can properly push on. I'm looking. Erik ten Hag is now the manager. That means there's been another change, right? We have had so far Bruno Lage, Koeman, Deschamps, and now Ten Hag. It's a 4th manager of this simulation. Does that suggest that things haven't gone so well? It might do. Ruben Neves is still at the club. At least that is good news. Let's look at what the Premier League finish was for this season. They finished back down to 15th. How disappointing is that? Again, a 39-point season is just not really what you want, is it? Only 10 wins in there. It's not good enough. I really expected them to do better than this with all of this money to spend. How much money did they spend last year then? They spent £162 million. Viktor Shigankov was the biggest one of those. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly as well. Coop Miners, Boga, Delap, and then Taylor Harwood-Bellis. All of those cost a fair bit of money as well. A couple of youngsters from Manchester City there. They did sell almost £40 million as well. Dendonka did go to West Ham, along with Dominic Solanke, who they signed the season before for £6.5 million. Let's just check in with what the squad looked like in the last game of the season, just to see, have they changed the system with yet another manager in charge? This Burnley game, what did they play? They played a 4-2-3-1, so maybe a bit of a change there. Morgan Gibbs-White playing in behind the striker, which was Liam Delap. So maybe some changes, but some changes need to be made as well. We need to do better than 15th. Can they, into season number 4 now, can they improve on this? Let's see. All right, penultimate season of our simulation. A very disappointing 15th place last year. This season is, I mean, there's already a new manager. It's the first thing you see when you click on this page. Mauricio Pochettino is now the Wolves manager. So Poch back in England. Does that suggest things haven't gone too well? It might do, you know. Let's see. He's another manager onto this list. Look, after we've had Lage, we've had Koeman, Deschamps, Ten Hag, and now Pochettino. Where did the club finish in 2024-25? They finished 11th. So, I mean, I was going to say it's an improvement. It still may be disappointing, but it's 11th. It's better than 15th. It's better than 17th. It's the joint highest that they finished in this simulation. Who did they sign in this window then? Did they spend big on the transfers? They spent £153 million, so they are still spending big and yet still not getting that success. The biggest of those transfers was Angelino from Leipzig. The left back used to play for City. A lot of City links in these. I'm seeing more City transfers here as well. Jamie Shackleton cost £33 million from Leeds. Callum Hudson-Odoi came in. Dembele, Galina, Cole Palmer, so another Man City youngster. Cisse Guerrero on a free. That's a good signing. And then Ndombele on a loan. £108 million in sales. The biggest of those was Kachia, who they signed for, I think, 20 million or 19 million for 54 million. Neto went to Shakhtar. Coates to Arsenal. Johnny went to Everton. Jimenez, Raul went to Al Gharafa, as well as quite a few other players leaving in this window. Will there be an improvement under Poch then as we go into our final season of this simulation? 11th that can't be the best finish we get, right? We need to improve. One more season Can we get Europe? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Here it is then, final season, June 2026. And with this massive Newcastle budget being given to Wolves, the best finish we've had so far was 11th place. This, though, I think is the first season where they've not changed managers. Does that spell a little bit of success? I really hope so. Poch is still in charge. Ruben Neves, that's always a positive, is still at the club. He must have signed a couple of new contracts in this time now. I'm also seeing favoured personnel, Emile Smith-Rowe. So that's a signing that the club have made, definitely. Where did they finish in this most recent season? Wolves finished 9th. So I'm relatively happy with that just because it's an improvement. Overall, I may be a bit disappointed. I really thought we could go and get ourselves into those European places. 9th place, 57 points is by far the best, though. Maybe this means that something good is starting here. Maybe Poch is putting something together. Well, I mean, we can hope, can't we? Let's have a look at who they signed in this window. Oh, my word. That is the biggest amount of money they have spent in any of the windows. I think we're over £700 million spent in total now. And this was the biggest window as of yet. Emile Smith-Rowe was there for £52 million. Tapsoba was brought in for £54 million. Really like him. He's a centre-back. Soyuncu, another centre-back. Kavica was brought in for £41 million. Meslier, Curtis Jones, Gerbic and Ferreira, a Portuguese signing at the end there. £16 million in sales. Galini. A lot of goalkeeper transfers going on in these simulations, I am finding. Mason Holgate was also sold along with a few others there as well. Traore was sold to Atalanta on a free. Aït-Nouri was loaned to Swansea. And then a 9th place finish. Again, a little bit disappointing. I do want to check in with what the squad look like and what type of system they are playing in 2026. They're back to this 4-3-3 that they were playing then. They've got Smith-Rowe and Koopmeiners in front of Ruben Neves, Dembele, Hudson-Odoi and Kavica on the left-hand side. I'm going to go with Kavica for his name. The team has changed a lot over these years. Success hasn't really been there. I really thought we could have done better in these years, but 9th place being the best finish. A bit disappointing. Maybe we should go on and do 10 years and see, is this the springboard to really push on from? But I think overall a bit of a disappointing simulation. Another one, really. We will find success, I promise you. Before we finish up then today, let me just remind you to get your video ideas down in the comments below. I'm going to make a little note of all of them so we can do some really fun videos around FM22 and Wolves in the coming weeks. So let me know in those comments. And if you want to see more FM content, then you can jump over to my personal channel, which is just Clayts on YouTube. But if you go and drop a subscription as well, I'll love you forever. We're really close to 10k subscribers over there, so you would be helping me out. But thank you so much for watching today. Have a lovely rest of your day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.